once again. This is going to be day 7 of my series for the rest of the month of July, and which is commonly and very titledly known, White Thugs of Hell. And the gentleman that if you want to call him that, oh God, who you see here, no, this isn't George Price of Death Row Records. No, this isn't King Kong Bundy 50 years later. No, this is not somebody auditioning to be Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin from the Daredevil movie series on Netflix. No. This happens to be Larry Hogan, who is the governor, currently the governor of Maryland. I looked at some old photos and stuff of him. When he had hair, and he was about 30 pounds lighter. Now, Larry Hogan has been recently in the news as of late, and like a few of my friends and constituents who happens to live up in the state of Maryland, and when I think of Maryland, I think of 3 places: Salisbury, definitely Baltimore. Love the people there in Baltimore. And the place that I'm talking about in reference to him, Prince George County. Now, you ask yourself, why Prince George County? What's this got to do with Larry Hogan? Well, let me just get right there to it. Prince George County, Maryland happens to be one of the richest counties in the U.S. And it's a county that is predominantly African American. Prince George County, a lot of people come there. One preferably who is currently now the NBA's MVP and NBA champion. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Kevin Wayne Durant was born there. Okay, a few of my other friends, they're from Prince George County, Maryland. And see, the thing about that, the income level is like astronomical there. Now, what does this have to do with Larry Hogan? Well, I don't know who that villain is on Austin Powers. Larry Hogan. Let's just refer to Larry Hogan as Dr. Evil. Let's just call him that, because he just looking at him right now is just like, I could think of so many jokes. Dr. Evil, Egghead from Batman. Oh boy, looky here. Lex Luthor 30 years later, that sort of thing like that. I mean, too many jokes. But maybe a joke, but here's the thing about with Larry Hogan. Now, all of a sudden, he's got the nerve to get out here and start pocket checking the residents of Maryland. And he's wondering, because, Prince George County, Maryland, income is usually in the 6-figure range. And you got a few people that live in that county are millionaires. Second of all, the education system there, the schools there are great. They're having high passing scores and all that. And this is all a predominantly black county there in Maryland. So I came across a story, Torian Rain did a story from there, because he's from Maryland. He's from Prince George County, come to think of it, as he mentioned on this video. So, like I said, this was the article I had pulled up. Now, player hating Larry Hogan decides, this is coming from the Washington Times, by the way, calls for investigation into suspected graduation fraud at PG schools. This is a piece of shit. Anyway, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan has called for the State Education Board to investigate accusations of systemic corruption in the Prince George County's public school system, which there is none. Now, in a letter Sunday to Andrew Smarick, president of the Maryland State Board of Education, Mr. Hogan directed the panel to take immediate steps to begin a complete, thorough, and exhaustive investigation into these allegations. In other words, what he's saying, that's cold, is find out how these niggas are doing it, and so and so, so and so. So he got to be politically correct, as well as being the big fat bastard liar that he is. Any instances of fraud and corruption in the Maryland public school system certainly represents a state interest. Let me continue. With 130,000 students, Prince George County is the state's second largest school system, which is behind Montgomery County. If I'm not mistaken, let me just dig up something here real quick. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Montgomery County is in Maryland is mostly all white. You know, and they were caught cheating on the Maryland state exam. Basically, which was formerly known as the MSPAP, that was a few years ago, causing the test to be thrown out altogether. Now, 4 members of the Prince George County Board of Education called this month for an investigation of the school system authenticity of graduation rates. They suspect students' graduation rates and grades have been inflated because of pressure by public schools CEO Kevin Maxwell. Now, on Monday, Mr. Maxwell said he looked forward to collaborating with the Maryland State Department of Education to resolve this matter. Now, from the beginning, I have maintained that politics lie at the roots of these accusations. There has been no systemic effort to promote students in Prince George County's public schools who did not meet state graduation requirements in order to inflate our graduation rates. County Executive Rushern Baker III, who appointed Mr. Maxwell as the top schools administrator in 2013, extended his nearly $300,000 a year contract in February by 4 years. It was marked the first contract extension for a school superintendent in about 25 years in that county. During Mr. Maxwell's tenure, the school system has endured a child sex abuse and pornography scandal involving more than a dozen elementary school students and a loss of more than $6 million in federal Head Start funds because of charges of abuse in at least 3 schools. Now, according to the county school statistics, the graduation rate for high school seniors rose 74.1%, where Mr. Maxwell became CEO in 2013, to 81.4% last year. Now, the school system earlier that year reported that its graduation rate has risen more by 2% points in just 1 year. See what we can do when we aggregate ourselves together like that? Now in that letter, Mr. Hogan, county school board members Edward Burrows, David Murray, Rahila Ahmed, and student representative Juwan Blocker challenged the veracity of those statistics. What does it mean when your graduation rates are in the 90th percentile, yet your math and literacy scores are in single digits or the teens? It doesn't add up. Now, Mr. Burrows said he and the other board members who signed the letter remain confident that an investigation will begin soon because of the number of whistleblowers who have provided information. Basic liars, plants. We have heard from a lot of employees in the school district, teachers, counselors, assistant principals, and at almost every level of the system. we had people who wanted to come forward telling us that we had either graduated students who did not meet the state requirements for education, or their grades were changed without the knowledge of teachers in order to graduate students. Now, in this letter to the State Board of Education, Mr. Hogan said those whistleblowers will receive full protection under the law. See, somebody lied. The governor is also taking into account concerns from other states and local officials, as well as those voiced by State Senator C. Anthony Muse during his appearance on Fox 5. Mr. Muse, Prince George County's Democrat, said many parents has asked for answers about the accusations but received none. Ensuring that all Maryland children have access to a world-class education is a top priority of my administration. That's what Hogan wrote. And I'm deeply troubled by these allegations regarding one of our school systems. Okay, let's just cut the bullshit right now. Larry Hogan is this fat Pepperidge Farm reject, is a bold-faced liar. This is typical white supremacy at work. They don't want to see the fact that a county which is predominantly black pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and doing what they're doing within the little confines of the law and by legal matters to get everything up as far as employment, the cost of living, the income to match the cost of living, the education system, the schools they'll provide, they doing for themselves. His personal beef is like this, that how the hell they doing this and we ain't doing nothing? But they want to give all the resources to Montgomery County. And I just told you about Montgomery County, how they got caught cheating on the exam. By the way, Montgomery County is predominantly white, but they supposed to be supreme, right? See, this is what I mean when we talk about white supremacy. You see, like white supremacists, because like I say, there's nothing supreme about them. If they were so much better than us and stuff, they wouldn't worry about what the people in Prince George County is doing. If they ain't breaking no laws, which they're not, because I believe the people who's being the whistleblowers are nothing more than just agent provocateurs. That's going on with that. Now, if I'm wrong about it, leave a comment in the section. But my thing is, I want to ask this. Where are all my people from Maryland at? If y'all out of Prince George County, man, trolls don't apply. Stay your ass out of this. Chime in on down in the comment section, man. And let's find out, get the bottom of this. Because I know for a fact, this fat Porky Pig's great-great-grandfather here is just nothing but a liar. He's a hater. That's why he's losing his hair, losing his weight. Hopefully his fucker could croak and die. He's probably been hanging out with Jason Whitlock and stuff to see who's bigger, or who could break a seat more faster, more or less. Larry Hogan makes my list of white thugs of hell because, see, only a Caucasoid would do some shit like that to keep that non-recessive gene individuals doing. Okay, because they only want to target a certain demographic. But he definitely makes my list of white thugs of hell. Fuck Larry Hogan. And y'all people in Maryland, his term is almost up. Vote that fat bastard out. Fucking Dr. Evil looking motherfucker.